Good time zone, cats and kittens. I'm your host, KiittyPls, and you're listening to Harmonized, the podcast for the working streamer looking to balance work, stream, and everything in between. Today's guest is someone really, really wonderful. You know, when I sat down to think about what I wanted for season 2, the idea of Twitch teams really jumped forward in my mind. And the idea of, okay, well, how does someone who's meant to manage their own partnership and their own stream and their own community also somehow balance all of that plus life plus a Twitch team. And then in the opposite spectrum, how does someone who's just trying to, build their brand and, be more discoverable and find where they fit in, how does a team fit in that scenario? And our guest today, who is Twiggie, reached out to me on Twitter. And prior to this conversation, I didn't really know her. I didn't know much about her. And she gave me insight into things I hadn't even considered. She's absolutely lovely. I loved learning about her Twitch team, which is called The Nook. And I really think that some of the things we talk about today is going to give some insight to a lot of streamers who are wondering what the other end of a Twitch team looks like. It really gave me a lot to think about and to really wonder what Twitch does for its streamers when they are on teams. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this interview. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself and your stream, how you got started, a little bit about your Twitch team, if you wouldn't mind.
So my name is Twiggie. I started streaming almost 3 years ago, April of 2018, and sorry, a large reason of why I started streaming was because I was unemployed and I didn't really have anything to fill my days with. And I've always, ever since I was old enough to be on the internet, I've done some kind of content creation. I did blogs when they were popular. I did Tumblr. I did photography. I did YouTube. I've done all of it.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, I've always just had that need to do something and put out on the internet. But then I never really had the equipment to do streaming. So, when I was unemployed, I just gotten a new PC and I was kind of bored a lot. And I was in this process of becoming more socially comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So, I figured if I can hold a conversation in front of an audience on a stream, I can hold a conversation with a person in real life. So that was a large part of why I wanted to start streaming. And so I did. And I immediately just really enjoyed the entire process behind it. So I started streaming April of 2018, and I more or less went into it full time from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
which I was able to do because I was unemployed. And then I started school that summer or that fall. It was during August 2018. I started my HR degree, which I'm currently doing as well. I'll be finishing that in May.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's weird that it's suddenly almost over.
It goes by in a flash. It really does.
Oh, God, yeah. The entire time it's felt like it's so far away, but no, we're starting our bachelor thesis now.
Ah, that's so
Um,
exciting.
yeah, it's very exciting and very scary. But yeah, I've been a variety streamer the entire time. I've streamed for a while. I streamed 7 days a week, up to 6 hours per day,
Oh
which
my
I wouldn't
goodness.
recommend.
Oh my
That's
lord.
a lot of streaming, and it doesn't really give you time to do all the behind the scenes things, which I recommend doing. But yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. I do a lot of horror games. I do a lot of adventure games. I really like chill simulation games as well. Like a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. So many people that I meet that do the full-time thing, they usually shy away from variety. It's really nice to meet somebody who's kind of started that way and stuck with it. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely advantages to doing the one game thing. You get an audience in that directory, and they're more likely to stick around because they like that game. With variety, you get that. I've had people who say that, "Hey, I enjoy your stream, but I'm not going to be here because I hate the game you're streaming now," and
Yeah.
that's always going to happen. So it can be really tricky to balance as a variety streamer.
I think it's great though that I mean, bless you for doing 7 days a week and what was that, 6 hours? Oh
Yeah,
my
I
goodness. Did you
I
get
it's
burnt out at all, or was that just, are you like a powerhouse?
I didn't actually get burned out, but then I started school and I had to drop a couple of days because I had some really tough day at schools where I had lectures like all day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I went down to a 5 days a week schedule, which I currently do and have been doing for the last year or so. And that
Mm-hmm.
works way better for me. So I do 5 days a week. I do between 4 and 6 hours typically, and then special occasions come in addition to that. So I still put out like right now I stream on average 90 to 100 hours per month, which is still quite a lot of stream time.
That is. It's an impressive amount of screen time. So, were you already in school when you made partner?
Yes,
Okay.
I got partnered January of 2020, so almost a year ago.
Oh, you're almost at your, what is it, partnerversary they call it? That's
Yeah,
really exciting.
you. I'm very excited too. So that was January 15th, and January 20th is when I started my stream team. So that was something that I'd planned for quite some time.
So, tell me a bit about that because I've never actually had the pleasure of speaking with someone who's built their own team and started it and kind of run it. Um, you said that you had been planning it for a while. Can you talk to me a bit about like
Yeah.
that whole process?
Yeah, of course. So one of my best friends on Twitch is named Tugboat, and he actually runs the team with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we met on the old communities, actually.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, way back then we met on one of those small streamer communities that are
Mm-hmm.
meant to put small streamers together and then we support each other and then everyone wins, which isn't really how they work.
It's not, but that's what we believed when we were in them.
Yeah, way back when we were young and innocent, full of hope.
Yes. Oh.
But we met in one of those and we liked each other, so we kept in touch. And we were always like, we were looking for a team
Mhm.
together because we wanted to have like a community of people who supported each other, who did events together, and where we could talk about streaming, rant about streaming.
Mhm.
And it's very hard to find a group of people to do that with.
Yes.
You can't rant about a bad stream to your viewers. Um,
No. They don't want to
no,
hear that.
no, and it feels so ungrateful. So, having a community of streamers who you can talk about these things to was something that we were looking for.
Mhm.
So, for like 2 years or something, we were looking for teams together. We joined a few teams together, we joined a few separately, and then we kind of reported back to each other if it was worth joining that team or not. And we never really found the team that we were looking for.
Mhm.
None of them offered that thing that we were looking for. So for like a year or two, we every time one of us had a really good stream, about like 70 average viewers, we
Mhm.
went, "So, when you get partnered, what are you naming your team?"
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, so we were building up to that for a really, really long time. And when I didn't got partnered, one of the first things that we did is we made a team together. It's called the Nook, and we currently have 34 members. It's been in existence for less than a year, but we're still only at 34 members. So it's not a very big team,
Oh, but it sounds like
but
a cozy team.
it is a cozy team, and that's been our like when we started. We had a couple of streamers who we just went, "This right here is the vibe that we want for the team."
Mhm.
And we think that we managed to sustain that vibe. We think that every single person that we've accepted to the team shares that same feeling,
Mhm.
which is very important to us. And because of that, we've managed to create a community where if you hang out in one team of our stream, then you will probably enjoy the rest. And if you go to the rest, you'll probably recognize community members. So you won't feel like you're in a brand new community because you'll see familiar names. And I
That's
don't
a
know
great
about you.
feeling.
It is. I get so shy and anxious chatting in a new stream if I don't know anyone.
Yes, and it's always cool. I think that's what I miss about the community's function of Twitch is when you were in, especially some of those smaller community tabs, and
Mm.
you found people you recognize, you're like, oh, hey, like, I know you. You
Yeah.
watch this streamer too. That's so cool.
Exactly. It's such a I feel like that really went away when the communities disappeared.
It did. And it's something that it's hard to talk to some people about now because there are so many people new to streaming. They don't remember what that was like. But I
Yeah.
felt like we really lost something when Twitch took those away. Like, yes, we have Discord and we have Teams still and Twitter, but I feel like we really did the community part of Twitch when I know it was just a little tab, but I really do feel like we lost part of the community when that went away.
I feel the same. And when Twitch removed them, they blamed it on so little traffic to streamers came from communities. And that's probably true. I don't think a lot of people browsed communities actively to find a stream, but I also don't think that the viewers were who benefited from them. I think
No,
it
it
was the
was for
streamers.
us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they didn't take that into consideration how much they meant for streamers.
Yeah, I remember feeling so lost after the fact. When I first started, because I started about 3-ish years ago, but I've taken many breaks here and there for personal reasons.
All right.
But when I first started, it was like you had to have a community. Like it was one of the first things that like people told you, like, oh, you wanna
Yeah.
grow and learn Twitch, like find a community that you fit in. And they were all over Twitch and all over Twitter and Discord, and there were all of these different places you could join. And maybe I'm just imagining it, but I feel like when the communities were removed from Twitch, they just disappeared altogether.
Yes. I
And
feel the same.
I didn't know what to do after that. Like,
No.
you dig through Twitter to like find groups, I guess, but
Yeah, because you like the communities, you could browse them and you could find a small one that fit like what you wanted out of your stream.
mhm.
And then you had someone, you had people. You don't have people as a new streamer on Twitch anymore.
Yeah, exactly. How does one find their people? And it was something that I was going to bring up later, but we're already on the topic, so why the heck not? I feel like lately there's been this resurgence again of people looking for teams, people looking for communities, and like maybe I'm just like my perspective, but I feel like there's this push again to bring teams and communities back, and it's all people are looking for and asking for and putting out there again. And I don't know if it's COVID or the isolation, but I feel like that's what's happening is people are pushing back and wanting that again.
Yeah. And I think that it very well could have something to do with COVID. People are lonely, people are isolated, and a lot of people turn to Twitch for that social interaction. But if you don't have anyone to interact with, what do you do?
Right, like how do you find where you fit in without a community?
Yeah. And I don't think that teams fulfill that role for most streamers. If you have a team that functions well, like our team, we get so much feedback that people feel like they have their people.
Yeah.
They have their sort of family on Twitch
Mhm.
and they can talk anything. We don't just talk about streaming. We talk about self-care, we talk about mental health, we talk about body positivity. The amount of people who have shared pictures of themselves that they've never shared with anyone because they feel safe, they feel like they're with people they trust. The majority of streamers don't have a group like that. And with teams, you have to be invited. You can't just join a team and find
Mhm.
their Discord and then be a part of that. You have to be invited,
Mhm.
and you won't get that same a team that accepts everyone. You won't get that same connection.
Right. There are certain teams, and I'm sure especially with teams like yours that are so small, you know what type of person you're going to encounter on those teams because they're, selective because they're looking for a certain fit, so you know what you're going for
Yes.
in there versus a team that accepts everyone. You don't know what the heck you're going to get in that box of chocolates
Yeah,
sometimes. But
absolutely.
I think it's amazing that you've given people a place where they can feel comfortable, sharing that and sharing those pictures, and that genuinely sounds so wonderful. Was it ever stressful for you at any point, like trying to put all of that together and build all of that while also managing your own stream, or was it a bit easier because you had that partner and that person that you teamed up with Tugboat, I think you said?
Not just gathering a bunch of people and then saying, okay, now we have a space to talk about this. We host events, we host game nights, we have our own podcast as well that we two members of the team are put in charge of that and they just run their own thing with guests from the team. We've done charity events. We've done like we do so much to build that,
Mhm.
and there's no way I could have done it alone. When I see people start Twitch teams and think that they can run it alone, I feel like I know that it's not gonna go as well as they think.
Mhm.
Because it is so much time, and you have to have a network of people who work together. And I know that if I had to do it alone, half of the things would never get done. So I wouldn't recommend people to start a team alone. It can be done, but then you kind of have to set a lot of other stuff on the side if you want
Mhm.
it to be successful.
So is that something you would give as a piece of advice to maybe new partners looking to start a team is have like a solid support behind you so you don't have to bear all of that burden?
I would say so, yes. You don't need to have one person that you do it together with. Like Tugboat and I are co-owners. One of us aren't more responsible than the other. We all have access. We both have access to the Twitter, the mail, everything. Like we share all of those things. But having someone who you can delegate things to,
Mhm.
having someone who can help you plan things, having someone who can help run certain events, who can maybe take control over the social media part of it, because
Mhm.
there's so many parts that goes into it, and they're all important. And it's hard to do all of it alone.
I can imagine that's what is so interesting to talk to somebody who's actually built their own team is on top of doing all of that you're also still streaming 5 days a week or
Yeah.
or 7 did you ever find at any point that you were like okay whoa I need to take a step back or did you really have like your feet on the ground like out the door.
Honestly, I felt like my schedule works really well with the team things. There are
Mhm.
some times where I think that, oh shit, I wish I could cancel my stream today because the team is doing something and I really want to catch that.
Mhm.
Um, But I feel like with my school, I have a lot of free time, and my streaming thing sort of takes part at night. It's
Mhm.
currently 1:30 a.m. for me. Yesterday I streamed until 4 a.m., and school stuff kind of takes place during the day. So I don't know. I haven't felt like I don't have time to do things. For me, the schedule works well.
Oh my goodness, bless you. 4 a.m. I'm like starting to wake up at that time.
Yeah, my boyfriend gets up for work at like 7.
Oh my
There have been
god.
times where we're awake at the same time in the morning for different reasons.
So part of why the podcast is called Harmonized is because of streamers looking for that balance. Do you feel despite the I'll call it an interesting stream schedule, sleep schedule. do you
Yeah.
do you find that you have balance in that regard? That you feel like you're pretty well rounded, or do you think that there's um something that you lose a little bit?
I think that, I do think that I balance it fairly well, but I can't not say that streaming takes a huge amount of my time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes most of my day because if I'm not streaming, if I'm not actively planning things, I'm watching a stream or I'm reaching out to people who I think can be beneficial either for me or the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like so much of my time goes to streaming, and I think that mostly everyone who does this full time can relate to that.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave your mind when you're not actively streaming.
So how often would you say you spend doing stream things that don't include being live? Like you said, like doing either for the team or for yourself, like reaching out, sending emails. I hate using the word networking because I feel like it's
Yeah.
been beaten to death at this point and it doesn't mean the same thing for everybody, but like how much of off stream time is the is do you usually do?
Honestly, most of my day. And that's partly also because like watching streams is my entertainment when I'm trying to relax as well.
Mhm.
If I want to relax and just wind down for the day, I put on usually a Nook stream and I hang out in their chats. Um, but honestly, I do spend a lot of time on Twitch.
Mhm.
It's most of my day if I'm not actively doing schoolwork, if I'm not actively hanging out with my boyfriend or his family,
Mhm.
um, or stuff like that. So yeah, the majority of my day, honestly.
Now, when you hang out in their streams, as you said, do you find that you're chatting more? Do you find that you're just watching and enjoying? Because I've found that streamers, when they're not streaming, tend to, at least from speaking with others, they actually tend to lurk more than they tend to chat because they've spent so much time chatting in their own streams. Do you find that because you're closer with the team, you're more willing to sit there and have that conversation, even though it's your quote unquote off hours?
I can go entire streams without saying an entire a single word.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I lurk. I call myself a serial lurker because I can watch a stream from the start to the end and then say, "Thank you for the stream. I had a good time," and then their auto shout out pops out that they have when I first speak in the stream.
I'm the same
Uh,
way. I like to just
yeah.
watch sometimes, but then I feel bad that I'm not talking, so then I'll say something, but then I'm like, I just want to lay on the couch. Just
Yeah, like, same. We do spend a lot of time being social when we're streaming, and sometimes it's nice to just, like, sit back and just watch something.
So when you finally got everything you wanted set up for the team,
Mhm.
and you decided, the vibe that you were going for and everything, what was getting that like first round of applications like? Because I imagine that's a sh- I imagine it that it's stressful, but maybe it's not for you.
Oh, it
Or it
was
wasn't for
so
you.
overwhelming.
Was it
We
scary like trying to like I don't want to
terrifying.
use the word judge people, but essentially, right? Like
We spent a lot of time going through applications.
mhm.
We got I think the first round, I think we got, like, 70 applications, which
Mhm.
really surprised us because we thought that we'd have to spend some time getting the word of the team out there and letting
Mhm.
people know that we exist, but turns out a lot of people, trusted us and wanted to participate in something that we were doing together. So that was really nice, but then that was a lot of applications,
Yeah. Oh god.
and a lot of them were our friends, and you obviously don't wanna reject your friends, but a lot of them just didn't really match or they didn't stream regularly,
Mhm.
which really sucked,
Yeah.
because we did reject a lot of our friends.
Was that a
'Cause
hard conversation to have, or were they understanding?
I have to be honest, I delegated that to Tugboat.
Oh,
But
I
we
would
like,
do the same thing.
yeah.
You can go give them the bad news, thank you.
Yeah, and then I did the invitation part.
Oh.
No, but everyone were really understanding, like,
Mhm.
I haven't seen anyone have any hard feelings.
Mhm.
Everyone who were friends who we rejected, we're still in touch with, we still
Mhm.
talk with, and we still hang out in each other's streams, so I think they all understood that it wasn't anything personal.
Mhm. And what was important to you like in an application? Like what were you looking for as you were like trying to build this cozy little nook that you have now?
Yeah. The most important thing was just the vibe of the stream.
Mhm.
Just the feeling that you get during the stream. When we reviewed VODs, one of the things that we looked for was how do they respond to a raid? Because that's really important to us.
Mhm.
When we've been in teams before, we've had this like assumption that we can raid anyone on the team, even if we never watched them before, and they will be like they will be met with like a welcoming atmosphere.
Yes.
So that was super important to us.
Mhm.
How people respond to raid, how inclusive are they? We obviously
Mhm.
don't want anyone who expresses any kind of inclusivity. That was
Mhm.
super, super important. In terms of numbers, we didn't really look for numbers that
Mhm.
much, but we looked for potential. If someone has been stuck on 7 average viewers for 3 years, then maybe there's not that much potential for growth.
Mhm.
So while numbers were never in any situation, numbers were never a judging factor, and we did accept people who had a one-digit average viewers. But that was because we knew that they could grow, they could surpass that, and they had potential to go way, way further. We truly believe that every single person on the team has the potential to get partnered.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we've had, I think, at least 2 people have gotten partnered after joining the team, and 2 more people have reached path to partner, which is really exciting, and I'm very proud.
Oh, that's awesome. It makes me smile so big to hear like you can
Yeah.
hear in your voice how like proud you are that they're like getting there. That's so sweet. Oh my gosh.
It's really, really, really fun, and we believe that everyone on the team has that potential. But yeah, numbers wasn't something that we looked for. We looked for how do they behave on stream? How do they present themselves? Have they found their voice as a streamer? Do
Mhm.
we know who they are? And just genuinity. Do we feel that they're genuine?
Mhm.
Because there were some applications where we didn't have any reason to reject them. They were great. They had the vibe that we were looking for. They had the like everything, but there was just something that didn't feel genuine.
Mhm.
And that's very hard to explain, but it was just that gut feeling, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I get that. And I think it's interesting to hear it from the person receiving the applications on that end, knowing what it's like also to apply. Because like you've said, you've done
Yeah.
the whole team thing. You've tried out a bunch of different teams. Um, so I almost feel like you know what you didn't want, like
Mm.
going into it too, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm, when you so have you did you okay, let me try this sentence again. Rewind, do it again. Did you accept all 35 in that first round, or did you start small, accept a few, do it again, accept a few more, do it again?
Yeah, first, like, as soon as we started, we invited I think we invited, like, 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
People who we already knew, "This person fits our team perfectly. This right here is the epitome of what we want." So we invited them, and we did that at the same time as we opened up applications, and first round of applications, I don't quite remember how many we accepted. I think we accepted 15, 20, but
Mm-hmm.
over, like, a couple of months. Um, and then second round of applications, we accepted, I think, 10 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we closed applications and we haven't really opened them after. We
Mm-hmm.
have invited 2 people that we knew wanted to be on the team and that we knew fit perfectly on the team
Mm-hmm.
after, like, outside of the applications. But no, we didn't accept, like, a huge batch at the same time because we want to grow one person at the time because we think that that's how we maintain that small family vibe.
Oh, absolutely. Get it. You know, it's interesting. I never thought of it until you just brought it up now. And again, maybe it's because like I've never considered it. Is it like some sort of like unwritten rule that teams are supposed to have applications, or can you really just invite people as you go? Like I'm thinking of it now. Like all these teams do applications, but do you really have to?
No, 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 no. We've seen a few teams that don't have applications. They run on a recruitment basis only, and you have to be invited by someone on the team. Someone on the team has to vouch for you to have a chance at all. And we've struggled a lot with how we're going to deal with bringing in new people
Mm-hmm.
because, like, we don't want to have a huge team. We
Mm-hmm.
think that we're 34 people right now, and that kind of feels like enough sometimes.
That's a classroom full of people.
That's a classroom full of people, exactly. So, what we've settled on right now is we don't officially have applications open. We recruit people, but we allow people to show that they're interested in the team via a interest form that's on our Twitter. So, it's not an application form per se, but it's more so that we can recruit people, but also know that we don't try to recruit people who don't want to be on the team.
That makes sense. So you're not like reaching out like, hey, like we think you'd be a really good fit for your team, and you get the
Yeah.
no thanks.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause that would be mortifying.
Oh God, I would crawl under a rock and die, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I see. Now I'm wondering if that's maybe. I feel like maybe if you want a more curated team, maybe that's the way to go. I don't know.
It's definitely yeah, it's definitely a way to do it.
I feel like I'm so used to, and again, we get stuck into these patterns. Nobody has these rules written anywhere.
Oh,
Nobody
no,
has
no.
like these set like guidelines and like restrictions that we put on ourselves. But I feel like someone somewhere like did a team application, and now all teams like do an application. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if it would make, because it seems like like the applications are a stressful process. I wonder if it would make other teams feel a lot better knowing that they didn't have to.
I think so. I think that it would take a lot of pressure off. We spent so long reviewing applications and obviously sending out rejections and, like, monitoring people that we thought were okay that we wanted on the team and then we wanna watch them live because we wanna interact with them before we accept them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had some people that we wanted to accept, but then they got into, like, fights on Twitter, and we didn't want that.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like there's so many aspects to an application that are stressful, and especially when you, like, get a big team. You see this all the time when big teams open up applications, and they say that they get hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go through all of them?
Honestly, that's what I'm wondering. I just how do you sort through that many people and
Yeah,
get to know each of them on a level well enough to say, okay, yes, this person is on our team.
exactly. And
Like
you have to be selective unless you want a team that just accepts everyone. And if you're a team that accepts everyone, then I'm sorry, but you're not gonna have a very solid team.
that's just, it's interesting because when I filled out and I am very grateful and I love my current stream team. I feel very blessed to be on the Plant Army, but
Mm,
when I had my first Twitch team, it was very much like what you're describing. Um, it was a very souring experience, I will say. It was about numbers and boosting, people that had
yeah.
numbers and there were people on the team who were, yes, thousands and hundreds of viewers, but they were kind of crappy people.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And that thing that you mentioned about rating, I feel like maybe it's because I played sports as a kid. A team to me should feel like a team. Um,
Yes.
you mentioned the whole rating thing. Like, I feel like a team member should feel comfortable rating anybody else on their team, knowing, okay, this is going to be fine.
Yes.
How do you do that on a team with like 800 people on it?
Exactly. You can't possibly get to know all of them, so you can't know. And then if there's no quality check, then you literally won't know.
Oh. See, you've given me so much to think about. It's just not that I have a Twitch team, but it's these types of conversations I love to have because it's a perspective and you know, an angle that I've never considered.
Yeah, I'm so
But
happy to hear that.
that hopefully helps somebody else too.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes on Twitch, and on Twitter, you see a lot of change. You see a lot
Yes.
of startups and excitement, and then recently I've actually seen a lot of teams close down.
Yeah.
Because the partner has come forward and said, like, this didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Like, this isn't what I wanted. I'm not doing enough for you guys. I'm not being there enough. Do you think that there's enough support? And again, because I don't know, because I'm not in that aspect, do you think there's enough support out there for partners who are looking to start their own team where like they can kind of see what to avoid? Or do you think they're just kind of like, okay, off you go, you can start a team, good luck?
Oh, no, Twitch offers nothing to support or help teams in any way, I would say.
That's so
Um,
sad.
yeah, I have this fear that teams at some point will reach the same conclusion as communities
Communities.
because
Mm.
there's nothing on Twitch that helps teams. There's no way to browse a team, there's no way to search for a team, there's no way to customize a team's website or a team page. You don't get any help on Twitch at all. You have to reach for external resources. We have a team Discord. It is the most active Discord that I'm in, but it's all because of us. It's because our members are interested in making it work. It's because
Mm-hmm.
we're interested in hosting events and everything. Twitch doesn't help teams, and I have sent them feedback many, many times. I have
Mm-hmm.
sent them pages with suggestions for how to make teams better. And I think that that would really help out because there is no resources. Like, even outside of Twitch, if you look on Twitter, no one tells you how to run a successful team.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't seen anything. So, how does one who has newly been partnered, other than like poking other partners and being like, hey, what did you do? How do they know what they're supposed to do?
They really don't.
It's
It's a
just-
lot just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Here's the unfortunate part, though. In order to create a team, number one, you have to send a ticket to support. You can't just make one from your dashboard. It needs a full-on ticket to support, and you are limited to only 2 teams ever.
oh, so if you heck one up, you only got one more shot.
If you heck one up, you only got one more shot.
Oh no.
So, yeah, that's why I feel really bad when people make a team and then it doesn't work out and then they shut it down because you kind of just lost that chance then.
Well, why wouldn't they at least have like a frequently asked questions guide or
Yeah,
something to give them? That blows my mind. I really
yeah.
thought, from an outsider perspective, that there would at least be resources for you or something.
No, unfortunately, there isn't. And I also think that a lot of people just have different expectations from teams.
Mhm.
You know, we run our team in a very, very like we really do teamwork.
Mhm.
We're currently hosting at least 2 events that is happening that most of our members are going to participate in. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of teams don't run events. They don't do that whole teamwork thing. And some of them don't want that. They just want to have a tag under their title and then maybe have somewhere to raid into and stuff like that. So I think that there's just a lot of different expectations and like people just want different things out of them.
Mhm. No, that
But I
I understand. But
yeah, I would love if there was some kind of workshop or some kind of FAQ that would like give a little bit of a boost in the right direction, you know?
I think that would be wonderful. At least as if I were a partner, I would think that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, I have this check mark now. I now know exactly what I'm doing. You're still you're still the same person you were 24 hours before the check mark. It's not like
Oh
you've
yeah,
you've
yeah, yeah.
gained all of this like important knowledge. Like they still need help. They still need guidance. They still need, hey, what do I do now?
Yeah.
you
The
know?
vast majority of partners do not make enough to be able to do a full-time stream.
Mhm.
And there aren't really a lot of resources to tell you how to take your stream to that step.
Well, it's
Not from Twitch's side either.
uh,
It's
th-
very unfortunate.
it's like, and I've said this before, and I think it's because I'm lucky in the sense that I have friends willing to have those conversations with me. I feel
Yeah.
like once somebody makes partner, everybody kind of forgets that that's like there's stuff after that.
Yes.
like there's no like, okay, bam, now you're instantly successful. Like there's all this stuff you have to learn still, all these things you need to know. Like okay, now I've made partner. Now how where do I go from here? What do I do now? And
Absolutely.
if I really genuinely thought that Twitch at least helped in that regard, but that's crazy.
No, you're sort of just left to your own. And then another unfortunate, we're kind of discussing a little bit, but another unfortunate side effect is that once you get partnered, your viewers also think that you're done. So a lot of people experience this big partner slump where the viewers go, "Oh, we helped you get partnered. You don't really need my views anymore." Then, so you get a big drop in viewership after that.
And that's so sad because I've heard the opposite, well, not the opposite, but I've heard of the slump, but from the perspective of, oh, well, you're too big now, so I can't watch you because you won't notice me in chat. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
it's crazy.
I like,
It is so sad.
and I think again, if we had communities, if if we had that sense of like you belong here, we wouldn't have that as much. I'm not saying in every circumstance, but say like, I remember there was in the communities there was like a mom and dad section, like a parent like,
Yeah.
community list. When somebody there would make partner, people didn't just leave because they were specifically looking for like, other parents to watch. Like there was that sense that like sort of brought everybody together.
Yeah, and then imagine going to their Discord and then getting advice for how to balance parenthood and streaming.
Right?
That's so valuable. How do you find that today?
I have no idea. And I don't think people on Twitch right now do either. And I think that's why we're seeing all of these people longing for a team, looking for, okay, well, where do I fit? Where do I belong? Like, where are my people? Because how do you find your people now?
Exactly. You have to be lucky and you have to have personal contacts. So you have to make those personal contacts and then use that. And then maybe they don't have a community though, and then you're left with just 2 people. Like it's very difficult to be a new streamer today, I think.
Yeah,
And that's not because the market is oversaturated. I think that anyone can grow a stream today, even if there's 1,000 million streamers. But I think that it's very hard to find those people and have people to connect with.
yeah, I feel like everybody thinks now, oh, I got to do it all by myself, or if anybody helps me, it's because they want something from me. I feel like there's been like a genuineness and a sense of camaraderie lost in like the past since they got rid of communities, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I feel the same.
and I don't think it needs to be like that. I really hope, and because I've gotten that vibe too. But I really hope we're both wrong and that the teams don't go the way of communities and that Twitch does see the value in them.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
would be so, so sad.
I
'Cause
think
it wouldn't be like, you can make your own community, even if teams got shut down, like, the Nook would still be our members in Discord, but it wouldn't be the same.
right because it's like saying yes, we are still a football team without the football.
Yeah, exactly.
We are. There's no goal. There's no field. There's no forward. There's no nothing. You are just here.
But you're still a team.
Right? I think that's so silly. Oh, you have given me so much to think about. My goodness.
Oh, I'm so
Thank you.
glad.
So, if you had to say, one goal that you had for your team and one goal that you had like for you yourself, like right now, what would you say those are and do the two kind of overlap?
Well, my ultimate goal with my personal stream is when I finish my degree in May to be able to continue streaming full time. Right
Mhm.
now, I don't make enough money to be able to do that because
Mhm.
I live in Norway, so I get a student loan for going to school, which is how I am able to do this
Mhm.
financially. For the team, I don't know. We're planning a few charity events. Last year, we raised over $50,000 on our first charity event.
Oh my god,
And
that's amazing.
it was so much fun. So I'm hoping that 2021, my goal is to reach, I don't know, I haven't really thought specifically about a number, but I'm thinking that $70,000 is what I hope to reach for the entire team in 2021.
Oh, that's
So
incredible. Did you
I
raise
really
money
hope
for
that
the
we,
same charity or was it multiple charities?
it was for To Write Love at Her Arms. It was all for the same charity.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, like, when it comes to the team, that's obviously more of a team effort and a community. We all come together and we do
Mhm.
that together, and it's a really good bonding thing. So I hope that we manage to do that again to an even bigger degree.
That's incredible. That makes me so excited for you.
Thank
I hope
you.
you 70K is lofty but
It's a
achievable.
lot of money.
I've seen it happen.
Oh yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So I always end with the same sort of question, and I hope that you'll bear with me because it is a little long-winded.
Okay.
But do you feel that you have a nice harmony between you as a streamer and then you as a team leader? Do you think that you found that sort of nice balance, and how did you find it? Or is there something that you're working towards to get yourself there?
I think that I have a very nice balance right now because while I'm the leader of the team, I don't feel like I am above anyone in the team.
Mhm.
And I don't think that anyone on the team feels that either. Ultimately, I am just another streamer like all of them, and I share my experiences, and we might have different experiences about things, and my opinion will never like rule above theirs. The only thing where I'm sort of above them in the team is when it comes to executive decisions about the team.
Mhm.
But I've never felt like I can just be a normal streamer and still manage the team. And I don't think anyone on the team feels that either. So I'm very happy with my balance when it comes to being a team leader in that aspect.
Beautiful. And if you could give one piece of advice to a new partner looking to start their first team, what piece of advice would you leave them with?
Hmm.
I know that's a tricky
Mm,
one.
It is a tricky one because there's so many parts that goes into it.
Yes. If
I
they
would
were
say
worried
that
about balancing it all, per se.
yeah, surround yourself with people that you know are as engaged as you are.
Mhm.
People who are willing to put in as much effort as you are. Because running a team isn't just one person doing the teamwork and then the rest just sort of tags along. It's a team effort. And if you have those people who are willing to do that much work, you can delegate, you can do things together. And I think that's so, so important. I think it's one of the most important things because once people fall off and stop doing things,
Mhm.
that's when the team sort of just dies down.
It's so hard to breathe life back into it as opposed to
It's
keep it
so hard.
going.
Oh, it's one of the hardest things.
Wow. I think think that's really solid advice. Thank you so much. This has been, I'm like so energized now from like all the like different thoughts and things and perspectives that you gave me. And I really, really hope that this helps somebody trying to start their own team, even if they listen to just bits and pieces of it, because I think a lot of what you had to say was really important and really insightful. So I'm really grateful that you agreed to sit down and chat with me.
Oh, thank you so much. I really hope that I help someone as well. My Twitter DMs are always open as well if anyone wants to talk about like teams in general. Always happy to talk anything streaming.
Beautiful. And Twiggy socials and everything will be linked in the description of the podcast. And if you're listening on YouTube, in the section below. If you ever want to catch her live, it's twitch.tv/itsTwiggie. I've learned my lesson every stream. Now I spell it instead of just saying it. But thank you so, so much. This has been an absolute pleasure. And I'm so thrilled that you said yes.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. I love talking about these things, and if it helps anyone else, then that's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank
Or
you. I wish the
morning.
same for you. Technicalities.